Algae, they are divided into three classes: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. Prawns, they have chlorophyll pigments, and that is why they are photosynthetic in nature, but you cannot call them as leaf. So rhodophyceae, it is also called as red algae because they have the pigment called as R-phycoerythrin. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to today's session on chapter 3, that is Plant Kingdom. I am Dr. Divya, Biology Faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore, Temple of Excellence. So in the previous session, we had discussed about the plant kingdom in general, where I had told you the plant kingdom is divided into not just the flowering plants that you see in your daily life, but apart from those flowering plants, we also find algae, then bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms, and along with that angiosperms as well. And angiosperms, it occupies a vast majority of the space in the plant kingdom or this universe. And apart from that, gymnosperms, they are very old because they existed even during the dinosaur era. So moving on to, in today's class, we shall discuss about the different classes of algae. So in the previous session, we had discussed about the general characteristics of algae. So today we shall see what are the different classes of algae. Again, for easy identification and study, algae is again divided into different classes. We shall study each one by one. So moving on to the first class, that is chlorophyceae. So chlorophyceae, the name itself suggests chloro means chlorophyll is present. Therefore, it is green in color. So hence it is also called as green algae. So when we look at the chlorophyceae members, they are usually unicellular. That is, they are made up of a single cell. So these single cells, they come in groups and they look like a colony. That is why we can say that they are also colonial. And some of the chlorophyceae members, they are filamentous. So they have their body or their thallus is long and filamentous. So they are filamentous. Some are filamentous. They are long and slender like. And I told you there are some pigments that are present in the chlorophyceae members, and that is why they are called as the green algae. So like how in plants they have the pigments called as chlorophyll A, B and chlorophyll C. Similarly, in green algae or the chlorophyceae members also, they have the pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So what are pigments? Pigmentation, it is something related to the color. Like the pigment, melanin is a pigment. So why melanin is a pigment? Because it decides the color of our skin, right? Just like this, chlorophyll is the pigment that decides that the plant should be green in color. So what are the chlorophyll pigments? They are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So coming to chloroplast. So where are these chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B pigments present? They are present in specialized structures called as chloroplast. So these chloroplasts in different species of the chlorophyceae members, they are of different shapes. So in some they may be just disc-like, they may be just disc-like, discoid shape. In some they may be just plate-like, and in some they may be reticulate. So if this is the chloroplast, they may just be just like, have you seen the veins of leaf? It is nothing but reticulate veination. So just like that, randomly they may be reticulate like this. So they may be reticulate. In some they may be spiral, some they may be cup shaped, some they will just be just like a cup. They will be cup shaped, and some it will be spiral, and some will be ribbon shaped. So these are the different shapes of chloroplast are present in different members of the chlorophyceae family, chlorophyceae class of algae. So when it comes to, so I told you now they have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B pigments. So Obviously, because they have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, the color of the algae will usually be glassy green. So you can see the best example that I've given here of volvox. It is glassy green in color because of the presence of the chlorophyll A and the chlorophyll B pigments. And apart from this, algae also they synthesize their food. So to whatever food is synthesized, there are some storage bodies present in them. So what are the storage bodies? The storage bodies are called as pyrenoids. So pyrenoids are just like compartments. Usually they are present in the chloroplast. So in the algal body, there is the chloroplast being present, and chloroplast is the one which helps in synthesizing the food. So when the sunlight falls on the algae, the food will be synthesized. So those food should be stored somewhere, right? Where it is stored? It is stored in specialized structures called pyrenoids, which are present inside the chloroplast. And these pyrenoids, they usually contain protein, and that is the food, whatever is synthesized, it is usually present in the form of protein, in the form of starch, and also in the form of oil droplets, which is needed for the algae, for the proper development of the algae. And next, moving on to the cell wall. So the unicellular algae, it has a single cell, and the cell is covered by a cell wall. The cell wall is very, very rigid. It is very tough. It is very rigid. And the inner layer, again here, the cell wall consists of two layers, the inner layer and the outer layer. The outer layer is usually rigid. It is made up of a compound called as pectose, and the inner layer is made up of cellulose. So usually plants, they have cellulose in their cell wall. Just like that, this chlorophyceae members of the algae, that is the green algae, they also have cellulose in their cell wall. But now you can say, okay ma'am, in their cell wall they have cellulose, they have the chloroplast, so why didn't they put the chlorophyceae members under the plant kingdom? Why? Because plants are not unicellular, but algae, this particular chlorophyceae algae, they are unicellular in nature. So that is why they have been put under a separate form, that is the green algae. And one more thing, plants have roots, plants have a definite body structure, but here algae, they usually have a thalloid. They don't have a plant body. The plant body, it is not distinguished into plants structures like the leaf, the stem, the root and all that. It is generally called as the thalloid. So such differences are there. That is why they have put chlorophyceae members separately under algae. Next, moving on to the reproduction. So reproduction in algae, especially the chlorophyceae members, it can be vegetative reproduction. The reproduction can be asexual, and the reproduction can be sexual. So whenever it is vegetative reproduction, it can either be by the fragmentation. So fragmentation means, fragmentation is usually wherein a small portion, say for example, here a small portion of the algae, it gets cut off. So that cut portion itself will generate into a new plant body. So that is our algal body or thallus. That is why it is called as fragmentation. The regeneration of the fragments will take place there. So that is the vegetative reproduction. Next, moving to asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is especially by the production of spores. So here spores are produced, and these spores, especially in the case of chlorophyceae members, they are zoospores. So zoospores are produced, and these zoospores are usually flagellated. They have flagella. So the asexual reproduction structures are nothing but the spores, and in those spores especially, it is the zoospores that help in the development of a new organism in algae. So when it comes to sexual reproduction, again we're talking about the general characteristics of algae. I had told you that sexual reproduction involves the fusion of the two gametes, that is the male and the female gamete. So here the gametes can look similar, which is called as isogamous. They may look dissimilar, which is called as anisogamous, or they may look oogamous, that is one gamete will be large and the other will be smaller. So these are the different forms of gametes or the type of sexual reproduction that is present. And this sexual reproduction, it is very commonly seen in chlorophyceae members, that is the green algae. And some of the common green algae that is found throughout in ponds and all is, it is the Chlamydomonas. So you can see here it is Chlamydomonas. So this is Chlamydomonas. Then we have Volvox, Chlamydomonas, and then we have Volvox. So this is Volvox, and we have Ulothrix, then Spirogyra and Chara. So this is Chara. So these are the different types of green algae that are present. So some of the common ones that are found in the ponds are Chlamydomonas volvox, Ulothrix, Spirogyra and Chara. So next, moving on to one more member, that is the Phaeophyceae. So algae, they are divided into three classes: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. So we have finished studying with Chlorophyceae. So I'll move on to the next class, that is Phaeophyceae. So Phaeophyceae are also called as brown algae because they are brown in color. Again, here also, just like in Chlorophyceae, they had chlorophyll A and B pigments which gave the algae the green color. Just like that, here also it contains a particular pigment which gives it a brown color. So it has pigments such as chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, then carotenoids and xanthophylls. So all these give them a olive green to green, and sometimes also olive green is almost brown in color. Because olive green, why? Because chlorophyll A is present. No, that is why olive green. Somewhat brownish in color. So it gives chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenoids and xanthophylls are the pigments that give the brown color to the algae. That is why the Phaeophyceae members are also called as the brown algae. So next, when we look at Phaeophyceae, so Chlorophyceae, they are usually found in ponds, then freshwater. They are freshwater. But when it comes to Phaeophyceae, the main habitat, that is the main region where they are found, is in marine habitats. So marine means they can occur in oceans and seas. Oceans and seas. They are found in oceans and seas. And when you look at the plant body, they are simple and they are branched. So you can see here they have a lot of branches. So they are simple and branched, and some are filamentous. When we look at ectocarpus, they can be filamentous, and though they are filamentous, filamentous also, they can be branched, and some can be highly branched, especially the kelps. So kelps, in the previous session, I had told you kelps are one of the important delicacies that are used by people in many countries as a food. And these kelps are very, very large, and they can grow up to about 100 meters. So this is kelp. What picture I have put here is kelp. They are very large, they are ribbon-like, and they are highly branched, and they can grow to about 100 meters. So this is about the plant body. So next, pigments. So based on the pigments, I told you the color of this particular algae, that is Phaeophyceae, they can be olive green to various shades of brown, depending on how much amount of xanthophyll pigment is present. That is, among xanthophyll pigment, there is something called as fucoxanthin. So how much amount of fucoxanthin is present, that will decide the shade of the brown color in algae. So based on that, it can be olive green, and some of the algae can have various shades of brown as well. So this is about the color. So when it comes to food, that is food storage. So algae, they can synthesize their own food. So when it comes to food storage, it is usually in the form of complex carbohydrates. That is nothing but starch. Like it is stored in the form of complex carbohydrates, especially in the form of laminarin or mannitol. So laminarin and mannitol are complex carbohydrates. So the food is stored in the form of laminarin and mannitol, which is used whenever required by the algae. So this is about the brown algae, the general characteristics of brown algae. So when it comes to the plant body in detail, so when you look at the brown algae or the Phaeophyceae members, they usually have a hold fast. So this is the hold fast. So can you see here, just like plants, it has a root-like structure. So this is the hold fast. So the name itself suggests hold fast. To hold on to something, to cling on to something. So to where do they cling on to? The rocks. Because now you can relate here. What did I tell you? The habitat of algae is marine. So marine means where are they found? They're found in oceans and seas. And you know that in oceans and seas there are lots of tides, right? So the algae should not get washed away. So if it should not get washed away, so I'll give you a best example. You take a plant in your house and just put it in the soil, that is root. You remove the plant along with the root and put it in the soil and don't cover it tightly. Just like that, loosely you make it stand in the soil. Harshly you pour water with great force. The plant will fall and it will be carried along with the water. Right. And on the other hand, what you do is the same plant, you put it properly, you root it deeply, put proper mud and make it stand. Then you put water, it will not fall off. Right. The same thing happens to these plants, algal members also in the seas. So if it is not holding properly onto a substrate or a rock, it will get washed away by the water currents. So here what happens here is this hold fast. It will help in attachment of the plant body to the substratum. So that is why these holdfasts are very, very important. And next structure in the plant body is called as the stipe. So the stipe is nothing but stalk. So there should be a connectivity from the stalk to the plant body. In this case, it is the leaf. There should be a connectivity. So what is that connectivity? It is this particular stalk. It is the stalk or the stipe. Stalk or stipe. So next, moving on to the upper part of the plant body of this particular algae, that is Phaeophyceae member, they are called as frond. So frond means leaf-like. So have you seen pteridophytes and all that Teres? So they'll have it's just like a frond, like huge leaves. So they are nothing but frond, and they are leaf-like photosynthetic organ. So these fronds, they have chlorophyll pigments, and that is why they are photosynthetic in nature. But you cannot call them as leaf, because leaves are the name given to plants, right? Algal members, though they have a plant body that is leaf-like, especially the Phaeophyceae member, you have to call it as the frond. So can you see here, it is almost leaf-like and it is called as the frond. And these fronds, they are usually photosynthetic, means they have the chlorophyll pigment and therefore they help in the synthesis of the own food. And when it comes to the vegetative cells of the algae, so these vegetative cells, they are made up of a cellulosic wall, means the wall contains cellulose component in them, and it is usually covered on the outside by a gelatinous coating of algin. So why this gelatinous coating is being present? Because these algae are usually underwater, and therefore that is why it is slimy. To prevent them from rotting, this gelatinous coat will be present. And what is the gelatinous coat? It is made up of a compound called as algin. So the cell wall or the covering of the algae, it consists of cellulose, and also the outer layer consists of a gelatinous coat which is made up of a substance called as algin. And when it comes to protoplast, so protoplast, they are nothing but one of the component of the chloroplast, and in the protoplast there is something called as the plastids, and plastids, they are usually located in the vacuole as well as in the nucleus. So the protoplast, it contains, so protoplast is something related to the chloroplast itself, but in the case of algae, it is called as, in Phaeophyceae member, it is called as protoplast. But in green algae, remember, green algae we called, that is in Chlorophyceae member, we had called it as the chloroplast, but in Phaeophyceae member, we call it as the protoplast. So protoplast, in the protoplast, there and also, do you remember in the chloroplast what was there in the Chlorophyceae members? It was the pyrenoids, right? Pyrenoids were there. But here in the protoplast, the plastids are present, and along with the plastid, there is also the presence of a vacuole, centrally located vacuole. Vacuole is a empty space. It is a vacuole, and also a nucleus is present. So every cell will have the nucleus. So therefore, even here also there is a nucleus that is present. So this is about the plant body. So next we'll move on to the reproduction. So reproduction, again here algal members, the reproduction can be vegetative, asexual as well as sexual. So vegetative, here also again it is by fragmentation. So again I won't explain because in the previous slide also the same thing had come up. And here moving on to asexual reproduction, again here also it is by spores. What spores? It is by the zoospores, and these zoospores have biflagellate, that is they have two flagellas. So they are biflagellate, two flagellas, and these zoospores in this case. So far also the shape of the zoospore varies. I usually used to draw kidney shaped zoospore, right? So but in this case it is pear shaped, somewhat pear shaped zoospore, and they are flagellated. So pear shaped and flagellated. Now moving on to sexual reproduction, again here it can be isogamous. So sexual reproduction, there is the fusion of the male and the female gamete will take place. Based on the gametes, it is of isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. So if the gametes are similar, you cannot differentiate between the male and the female gamete, it is isogamous. If you can differentiate between the male and the female gamete, it is anisogamous. And again, if one of the gamete is larger and the other is smaller, it is oogamous. So here the union of the gametes take place inside the water. Obviously algae, these are marine forms which are found. Marine forms means, do you find them growing on top of the water? No, they are found below on the ocean bed, right? Why on the ocean bed? Because rock, soil and all that is present in the ocean bed. So here the union of gametes, they take place in water or within the oogonium. Sometimes what happens, the gametes will be released and then the fusion will take place in the water. Otherwise, in the oogonium itself, oogonium is one of the reproductive structures. So in the oogonium itself, that is in oogamous species, some of the oogamous species, wherein the oogamous kind of gametes are present. Here what happens here is, inside the oogonium or the fruiting body that we call, you cannot call it here like that, but to make you understand. So in the oogonium, they usually fusion will take place inside the oogonium itself. It is not like the gametes will come out and fuse in the water. So there are different types. One is either in some of the members, chlorophyceae members, the fusion of the gametes will take place in the water, wherein the gametes will come out and then it will fuse. And in some of the members, that is especially the oogamous members of the chlorophyceae, the gametes will fuse inside the oogonium itself. So these gametes, they can either be pear-shaped. So pear-shaped, so whenever it is pyriform, it means it is pear-shaped. So they can be pyriform, and also they have two flagella. So and bear two laterally attached flagella. So these are the different types of gametes which are involved in the sexual reproduction. And some of the most common forms of chlorophyceae that are usually found in the oceans and the seas are the ectocarpus, then we have the Dictyota, we have Laminaria, we have Sargassum and Fucus. This is Fucus, then we have Sargassum, then we have Laminaria. So different types of algae, they are found in the sea, that is in the marine habitat. So next, moving on to the next member, that is the last class under the algae, that is Rhodophyceae. So Rhodophyceae, it is also called as red algae because they have the pigment called as R-phycoerythrin. So they have a pigment called as R-phycoerythrin. So remember, Chlorophyceae, they had pigments chlorophyll A and B. Phaeophyceae, they had pigments chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, xanthophyll. So in xanthophyll, they had xanthocyanin. So all those were the pigments that were present. But when it comes to Rhodophyceae, the pigment that is present is phycoerythrin. And this R-phycoerythrin is the pigment that gives the red color to the algae. And these are also marine forms. They are found in deep oceans. Therefore, these also, they are always found attached to a substrate. So they are found in warm areas. So that is why seas and oceans are usually warm, right? So there is a difference when you put your feet into the pond and the seas. Seas and oceans are warmer than the ponds, lakes, river. So that is why they are usually found in warmer areas, wherein, and also they are usually found in well lighted areas where sunlight is available, well lighted areas, and also they can be present in dark areas. So They can be present growing wherever there is well lit, that is sunlight is there, and also they can grow in great depths in the ocean. Below the ocean, in the ocean bed also they can grow where it is completely dark. And the thala is multicellular. Remember, so far you had only Chlorophyceae you had studied, they were unicellular. But these, that is Rhodophyceae, they are multicellular. They are made up of more than one cells. So this is multicellular. And when it comes to storage, foods are stored in the form of starch, and especially what kind of starch? So Phaeophyceae also, food was stored in the form of starch, that is complex carbohydrate. What was it? It was, the mannitol was one of the main, but here it is nothing but Floridian starch. It is stored in the form of Floridian starch. So next, moving on to the reproduction. So reproduction, it is usually vegetative, that is by fragmentation. Then asexual reproduction can also take place wherein non-motile spores are involved, and sexual reproduction can also take place where non-motile gametes are involved. So non-motile gametes means it is oogamous. Why? Because inside the oogonium itself, the fusion will take place. There is no need for them to move in the water. So that is why it is non-motile gametes, and therefore it is oogamous. So in the previous two classes, that is Chlorophyceae and Phaeophyceae, the sexual reproduction was by isogametes, anisogametes and oogametes, right? But in this case of Rhodophyceae, the sexual reproduction is only by the non-motile oogametes. Therefore, it is oogamous type of sexual reproduction. And next, the most common members of red algae that are found is Polysiphonia, then we have Porphyra, Gracilaria and Gelidium. So you might have heard previously in the previous session about Gracilaria and Gelidium. They are the most common ones found, and these Gracilaria and Gelidium are usually used in making agar, and that agar is usually used in food preparation as a solidifying agent. That is gel, if you need to prepare jellies and all that. So this particular Gracilaria and Gelidium can be used. So this was about the algal members, wherein you studied the different classes of algae, that is Chlorophyceae, Rhodophyceae and Phaeophyceae. So I hope you have understood this session well. In the next coming session, we shall study about bryophytes. So I hope you have understood this session well. We shall meet again in the next coming session. Thank you.